Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, David James, and I'm coming to another edition of the more recent lots of, I can see my shirt, lots of videos on this channel. This one having to do with, what's going on in this smaller. This is the smaller of my aquaria. I've got two. This is the smaller of the two. Couple of points. First of all, you can see this guy's, he's got like a bit taken out of him at just by the anal fin there. That's one of the ones that I bred, and the only one of the ones that were brought up in this tank that I've left. I didn't think it was fair to give him to the store. Most of them have gone to the store, but I left him basically because I felt a bit sorry. He was like that from the tiniest point when he was just barely visible. I could see there was one that had a bit taken out of him, and I just wondered, well, partly out of curiosity, whether he'd be okay, what he'll grow into, whether it will actually. Now, I've no idea whether this actually meant, whether this is a genetic issue. I've never seen it before, and none of the others had it, or whether actually something did take a bite out of him. But it was such a small. He was so small when it happened. I think it's a male. So small when it happened that, well, it may be, with that bit gone, it may be a little bit academic whether it's a male or a female. But in any event, that fish was like that when it was microscopic, and I thought, well, that's a bit funny because, having a bit taken out when something's that small, what would take a bit out of something that small and not take the lot? So it's a mystery why that happened. If anybody knows, if anybody can give any detail on it, then by all means do tell me. Trying to get some focus up on it. The other gourami style things in here are of course paradise fish. I thought I had a male and two females, but really nothing's really happened. No blowing of bubble nests has taken place. So I bought a male recently. I can't see him at the moment. These are all clearly, they're all fat. This one's principally egg bound. But there's a small male in there. He's not at the front at the moment. So even the one which I thought was more male looking with the more flowing fins down there, still also fat around the eggish area. And this one over here, which is a darker coloration, which I thought might conceivably also be a male, is also rather the same shape, and also not engaging in male style behaviour. They do push and pull at each other around, but then it's a little bit like cows that jump on each other's backs when there's no bull around. So I was thinking that I might have a pair out of those three for quite some time, till I came to the realization that nothing much would happen there in prime condition, but nothing's happening, whereas the gouramis have obviously gone. There's the male that I bought, just down that end. Yeah, so just for contrast, you can see the shape, the length of the fins, and also the deeper red colour, and the length of the fins in comparison to the bodies, and the more the more elongated shape, whereby the bit that's getting fat from conditioning isn't quite so. You see a lot more red on the fish, yeah. And the other advantage is, of course, I know for sure that that's not going to be from the same. It was from a completely different source that I got him. So if I can breed them, which we'll see in future, it will be more healthy. Recently got some plants from somebody on Facebook. That's Java moss on 3 bamboo pipes. Just starting to see if it will take or not. This I can never remember for the life of me what that's called, but people do seem to be fans of it. It's not taking very well, is it, really? But it's early days yet. We'll see whether it actually does develop or not. But these are experiments. I won't be annoyed with the lady if it doesn't work out. She also threw in some linobium, which you can just see there. It's a floating plant. It's not the mossy thing which is there. It's the more rounded one, like Pistia, but just spongy and clinging to the surface. So what I mainly wanted to talk about is the ongoing snail battle, because I've had an army of lovers in here for quite some time. I'm not talking about the Corydoras there, but they've all disappeared. There were 6 of them at the front a moment ago before I started filming. They obviously don't like having their photos taken. Because my male paradise fish is looking lovely there. Look, you can see already the ratio of tail and fin and everything to the rest of the body is much more than. These have got lovely flowing fins, but the ratio there is just completely different. So and that's probably what gives the game away. And that's probably definitely a male. I mean, if that's not a male, then I'd like to see a male. Put it that way. So the latest. There's one of the army of lovers of Botia sidhtimunki, the dwarf loach. They're supposed to like snails, or love snails, really, not in a platonic way, and probably not in a sexual way either, but more in the way that the French are said to love les escargots. Obviously, we don't have escargot here. We've got, well, tiny little. Well, there's one. I don't know if I can focus up onto it. On the glass there, or there's some more up here. They're still going. There's not as many as there were, but the army of lovers don't seem to be doing all that they should be doing. There's supposed to be 6 of them. There are 6 of them. I counted today. But they're not really getting rid of them as quickly as they might. And anyway, they're not essential, they're not obligate helicivores. So therefore, there's a trap. I bought 2 traps. One of them's got green pellets in, which contain other food as well as the algae made by welll. And this one's got a piece of cucumber in, as you can see. They weren't expensive, these things. Got them on Amazon, but when they came, they didn't have any kind of explanation. So there was me trying to work out what these suckers things were for, and trying to find some way of putting them on there and sticking that to the wall or something. And I realised it must be something to do with tying them, or why they couldn't have tied them themselves in that case, just to make it obvious, to these pieces of nylon that come out of the top to help you pull up without putting your hand in, help you pull up out of the water when the lights come on in the morning, presumably. These things, and then in the morning when you pull it up using these things here, yeah, you presumably pull it up and out come a bunch of snails with it that have been congregating around the bait, trying to pull it out from between those small spaces, but unable to get into the bait, which I'm not sure. Probably some of the snails will be able to get in anyway, but that won't make an awful lot of difference whether they're in there or whether they're in the tray. And the idea is, of course, that once they're full, they're just going to go to sleep in that tray area, and not be particularly bothered about going too far away from the area, so therefore be pulled up when the lights come on. And even if they're all over it, and they start to fall like they do when they're up on the glass, but you turn the light on, they automatically release their suckers and go back in their shells, and they will fall like snow. Then presumably they will fall down and get caught by that rim thing at the bottom. I suppose that's the idea, though it doesn't look quite wide enough to work as it should there. But this is all about a little bit of experimenting, isn't it? You like experimenting, don't you? It's all about experimenting to see which of the two, whether this even works, and if it does work, then which of the 2 baits works better. Yeah, this bait or this bait. Yeah, the green one here, or the green manufactured food, or the other green one, which is just basically a piece of cucumber. It's not a very big piece, mind you, but there we are. There's two of them, and the idea is to see what who goes where. if anybody goes where, and whether it actually works. So part 2 of this will be to explain what actually happened afterwards.